Hello there, beautiful soul, and welcome to your movement practice. I know that for some people who haven't done yoga before maybe, or don't feel like they have the confidence to try, it can be quite a daunting task to do, to step onto your mat or to go to a studio and a place where you feel unsure, uncertain, and completely unaware of exactly what you're supposed to be doing, what the pose is called, what it's supposed to look like, and especially how it's supposed to feel in the body. And so I want to strip all that stress and fear away for you and bring it back to the basics. So this is a super simple, slow and steady introduction, curated especially for you so that you can feel comfortable and more confident within your practice and within your body. Yoga is not a practice that judges. It holds you and it supports you regardless of where you are at on your journey. And yoga traditionally was actually practiced in order to calm the mind, to be able to sit in long periods of meditation. It wasn't about being able to stand upside down on your hands or to be able to bend backwards and put your head through your legs. It wasn't about that at all, and it still isn't. So I want you to have an open mind, an even more open heart, a softness for yourself, the ability to laugh at yourself, to not take it so seriously, and to be curious about the unfolding of your own journey and the process of yoga. These classes will also be perfect if you just want to strip away all of the unnecessary fluff, step away from the ego, and come back to the simple, basic foundational poses. Unlearning what we thought we knew in order to rediscover a new way to move in our own practice, to embody each unique pose, and to feel through our own bodies. It will be a much slower and gentler practice, and sometimes it actually takes a more advanced practice or a more disciplined mindset to be able to come back away from our own expectations of what we think something is going to be like or what it should be like in order to fully enjoy the present moment. So before we even begin, I'm going to invite you to make a pledge. Pick up your right hand and then place it across on top of your heart space. Pick up your left hand, place it on top of the right hand. So here our palms are on our heart space. We're connecting to our heart chakra, to the power that's in each and every one of us. If you feel comfortable, I invite you to close down the eyes and we'll take a deep breath together. Inhale through the nose, fill up the belly. Exhale, open the mouth, drop the shoulders down the spine and let it go. One more, deep breath in. Open the mouth and let it go. Feeling the heartbeat beneath the palms and then gently blinking the eyelids open. So before we've even begun, you just did it. You just did yoga. Congratulations. You've done the hardest part, is getting here and getting through that first hurdle. And you've done it. Woohoo! You can release all of the fear that you came here with. You can release all of the expectations and feel proud of yourself for taking the first step and for trying something new. Yoga is a practice that doesn't judge and it doesn't discriminate, and it certainly doesn't shame. So if at any point in any class ever you feel uncomfortable or unsafe, have the confidence and the power within yourself to be able to know that that isn't right for you in that moment and to be able to express something that does feel more right. So I say this all the time, I am not a yoga teacher. I am just suggesting certain ways that you can move your body, and yoga itself is the teacher. You are your own teacher, and it's up to you to be able to tune in with your own body, to have that conversation, to become aware when something doesn't feel quite right, and to be able to react accordingly and in a way that is both calm, humbling, nurturing, and forgiving. And that's what yoga should be. It should be healing and nourishing and nurturing and like a hug for the whole body. It's just like a big warm embrace. While we're here sitting down, if you feel comfortable closing the eyes, you may not feel comfortable with the eyes closed, and that's completely okay. Please honor that within yourself. Roll the shoulders a couple of times up to the ears and then drip them down the spine. Inhale, pick the shoulders up. Exhale, create some space. Inhale up. Exhale down. Place one hand on the heart space, feeling the heartbeat within yourself, within the chest, underneath the palm. And bring the other hand to the belly. And as you breathe in, I invite you to expand and breathe into the belly, into the hand that's on your tummy, as the hand moves away from the body. And then as you exhale, allow the hand to hug back into the body. So you'll find that often we're chest breathers, and especially if you live a highly anxious or stressed life, you're likely to breathe from this upper part of your torso, from the chestal region. And when you look at a newborn baby, you'll realize that our natural state, our more relaxed state, and when we're moving from a place of our parasympathetic nervous system of rest and digest, we're breathing into our bellies. And it sounds so simple, but it is one of the best practices and the most humbling practices to come back into. And the more that you practice belly breathing, you'll be able to witness and find yourself shallow chest breathing maybe throughout the day when you moving too quickly through a high-paced lifestyle or at work, or you're in conflict with a relationship or a specific person, and you'll be able to recognize it happening within yourself and consciously drop into belly breathing and instantly feel an opening and a calming sensation throughout your entire being. So with one hand on the heart space, one hand on the belly. Inhale, expand the belly, and then as you continue to inhale, you'll fill up through the lungs, into the outer ribs, into the chest, and then as you exhale, the chest will melt back and the belly will soften back in. Inhale. Exhale. Create some space between the shoulders and the ears. Inhale. Exhale. Last breath. Inhale. Exhale. Gently blinking open the eyes. Take the hands and wrap the thumbs to the outer ribs towards the back edge of the back edge of the body, and the forefingers towards the front. So you're holding your rib cage. As you inhale, breathe and expand the rib cage out. So breathe into where the hands are. Eyes can close down if that's comfortable for you. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Now take one hand to the belly and one hand to the back so that you're pressing your torso in against itself. Inhale, breathe into both hands. Exhale. Inhale, move the hands away from one another. Exhale. And then come back to neutral. Roll the shoulders a couple more times. And then maybe swaying gently side to side. Again, the eyes can be open or closed or gently downcast, whatever's comfortable. We're just inviting some gentle spinal movements. You may even like to bring the torso forwards and then around as if you're drawing big circles or you're stirring a big pot. I'm stirring, what am I stirring in mine? Pancake batter. Yeah, love pancake batter. Nice healthy pancake batter. And then to the other side. Just noticing what this feels like in the body. How many different ways you can move your spine and articulate. That's one thing that we forget, especially if you work in an office job or a high-stress job, is that our bodies are designed to move in all these different ways. And that's something that yoga enables us to do, is to connect back to that and to move our bodies in every way, every day. Relax the arms, shake them out, maybe even make a funny noise with the lips like you're a horse. Shake it all out. Ready? Inhale. Let it go. Yoga's not serious, or it doesn't have to be anyway. Let's activate every cell inside of us, shake it all out, maybe even extend the legs out. Give those a little shake as well. Make some noise. Don't be afraid to look silly, at least not in my yoga practices. We'll remove the block if you're sitting on one. And you may like a block and a strap throughout your practices. So if you have a block or a strap at home, please feel free to invite them onto your mat or around you as you practice. If you don't have a block or a strap, you can totally use anything else. So you can use, instead of a strap, maybe you have a dressing gown cord or a long piece of string or rope, anything that will work similarly to a yoga strap. And same with a block, a book or anything else that you think will substitute nicely and give you a little bit of a lift, something sturdy and supportive. We'll start in child's pose. So child's pose is your safe spot. This is your safe word, child's pose. At the back edge of your mat, knees spread wide. So the knees will be out probably as wide as the mat. Hips to the heels. From here, the hands can rest inside the thighs, fingers to the earth, shoulders roll down the spine, lengthen through the back of the neck as you inhale. As you exhale, walk the hands forward towards the top edge of the mat. Spread the fingers nice and wide. So take up space. Don't be afraid to take up as much space as you like. I know that yoga, a lot of the time, it feels like you can find the yoga mat, but you're not. This is just a guide for your feet most of the time. It's somewhere that you hopefully won't slip. But you have all this room around you, and feel free to take up space in that realm. So feel free, if you like to, you can take the hands off the mat even and maybe come down onto one cheek or the other, hugging the earth. If the hands are forward, come down onto the forehead and bring the weight into the hips. Sink the hips back towards the heels, towards the back edge of the mat. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Breathe it in. Soften the belly and breathe out. Maybe you'd like to come up onto the fingertips here, making tents with the hands so that the palms lift away from the earth. And the forehead stays on the ground as the heart becomes heavy and melts down to the floor as well. So this is your wide knee child's pose. From here, we're going to find a juicy right side body stretch by walking both hands across to the left edge of the mat, off the mat. Maybe hands side by side, or maybe you'd even like to take the right hand, the right fingers, and interlace them into the left fingers. From here, bring the weight into the right hip and keep grounding down through the outer side of the right hip. Relax the head and the neck. And notice where you're feeling this in the body. Does it feel like you're stretching and opening up through the right side of the body, expanding the ribs? Exhale, walk the hands back through center. And we'll find the other side, walking the hands completely over to the right. Maybe both hands side by side, like best friends, or maybe interlacing, like they love each other. The forehead comes back down to the mat, and this time bring the weight into the outer left hip, opening up through the left side body. And walk the hands back to center. From here, we'll find tabletop. The shoulders stack above the wrists, fingers stay spread wide, and the hips will stack above the knees. Inflate gently through the upper back so that your chest isn't slumping down like this. You don't want there to be a weight in your belly button. I want you to engage through the core, lengthen through the back of the neck, gentle activation of the abs, and a lift through the heart space, as if your heart's opening up towards the front edge of the mat. Inhale, as you drop the belly, lift the chin. Blossom the sit bones open. And then exhale, curl the spine, look up at your belly button, push the floor away. So these are our cat-cows. This is our cat, feeling feline. And then as you inhale, drop the belly, that's our cow. Exhale, curl and round, cat. Inhale, drop the belly, look up, cow. Exhale, curl the spine. One more. Inhale, drop the belly, look up. Exhale, curl and round. Inhale, back to a neutral spine. And then tucking the toes under if you feel comfortable and lifting the knees up, we'll find a high plank. Knowing that this might be a little bit strong for you, you can always take the option to lower the knees down and untuck the toes. From here, keep pushing the floor away. I have hyperextending elbows, so my tendency is to make the inner part of my elbow move towards the top edge of the mat, but it's actually not protecting my elbow joint. So I need to gently bend through the elbows, very, very gently, micro bend, so that you can feel it, but that no one else can see it. So that the inner elbows are facing one another, and that's more supportive through the body. So if your elbows do the same thing, just have a look down and see if you can micro bend and adjust them. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. So plank pose, if the knees are lifted, you don't want the hips to be too high or too low. You want to find that Goldilocks position where you're pushing through the palms of the hands, inflating through the upper back, making a rainbow across the shoulder blades, and then lifting the front of the heart space forwards. Inhale. Exhale, lower the knees, and we'll find our chaturanga variation, keeping the elbows bent into the ribs as you lean forward and the heart melts down towards the ground. Stay active through the core and push up through the upper back, lowering all the way down to the ground. Whew. Even for a more advanced practitioner, coming back to the basics is actually harder because it forces you to move slower and to become more mindful of the movements and how they're supposed to feel rather than what you're used to them feeling like. With the palms planted down by the sides, we'll find our baby cobra. So baby cobra, you lift up the knees and you push the pinky edges of the feet into the earth. From here, gentle engagement through the core, through the abs. Roll the shoulders down the spine and lift the chest away from the earth. You don't want to come up too high like this. Wherever you come to, I want you to be able to move the hands away and to be able to stay floating here. And if you take the hands away, you'll feel it engaging through the back muscles. Inhale. Exhale, melt the chest back down. Inhale, baby cobra. Lift the heart space, roll the shoulders down the spine. Knees will be lifted, pinky edges of the feet press into the mat. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Exhale, back down. Last one. Inhale, pick up. Exhale, melt back down. We'll find an up dog now. So keeping the palms where they are, lift up onto the tops of the feet. The knees and the hips and the thighs will lift away from the earth. As the hips melt down closer to the earth, the shoulders melt down the spine and the heart lifts towards the sky. Inhale. Exhale. Keep pushing the floor away. Breathe it in. You're not just sinking into the hips, you're still engaging through the core. It's a very active pose. On the exhale, I want you to lift the hips, tuck the toes under, and we'll find our downward facing dog. Whew. So I remember my first down dog in the studio. I had no idea what it was supposed to feel like, what it was supposed to look like, and it was hard. It was hard to stay there for long periods of time, and everyone else seemed to use it as a rest pose, and I felt really left out. And I want you to know that you will eventually find this and feel this as a rest pose, but for the first couple of times, the first while actually, it will be about building the strength around feeling the pose properly in order for it to become simple and easy. So down dog, the hips are lifted. I don't want you to plug the heels down straight away. That's very intense on the hamstrings. I actually want you to lift the heels up and bend through the knees, allowing the belly to come closer towards the thighs. Fingers are spread at the top edge of the mat, nice and wide. Press down through the thumb and the index finger of both hands. And then roll the underarms together across the front of the chest. Allow them to relax, and then roll them back together across the front of the chest. Notice what that does to your shoulders and to the stability of the pose. Relax them, and then roll the underarms together across the front of the chest. Keep pushing the floor away through the palms of the hands and lifting and opening through the sit bones. I like to call it blossoming. Like your sit bones are blossoming open like a flower. Keep bending through the knees, relax through the back of the head. Use your breath. So this is probably already a little bit intense, a little bit hard, and if it is, know that you can always find your child's pose and come back into the pose when you feel ready. Full breath in. Full breath out. Shake the head. Release the tension. From here, we're going to inhale, look forward, bend the knees. And then as you exhale, we're going to take 10 fairy steps towards the top edge of the mat. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is where our block comes in handy. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands can come to the block if you like, to the shins, or to the earth if you feel open enough through the hamstrings. I love using a block. Don't ever be afraid to use props. They're your best friend, and they don't mean that you're not open or that you're not a good yogi. They're a tool in helping you to become more open and to feel out the posture and to embody and honor what the pose is supposed to feel like and gift you in that day. So as you inhale and use the fingertips on the blocks or the palms of the hands, broaden the collarbones. So pull the shoulder blades together across the top edge of your back. Lift the heart space forwards and lengthen through the back of the neck. The knees can be slightly bent here if that's more comfortable for you. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Release the head and the neck. Bring the belly towards the tops of the thighs. And again, the knees can stay bent if you prefer. Shake the head yes and shake the head no. We're going super slow. No rush, just enjoying the movements in the body, enjoying what it feels like. With the feet at hip width, maybe heel toe the feet out to hip width if they're not already there. Keep bending through the knees, allowing the belly to melt towards the thighs, and we'll find our ragdoll position, interlacing the hands, grabbing onto opposite elbow, and then allowing the torso to hang heavy, as if you're folding over a monkey bar like you did in primary school. And from here, you can start to sway side to side, like you're a tree in the wind or an elephant's trunk, just gently swaying. Use the breath, inhale, exhale. So if your anatomy is built a little bit differently, like mine, you might find it hard to bring your belly closer towards the thighs. So if your belly is resting on the thighs, breathe into the belly, and as you do, feel it stabilize the spine, especially the lower back, and how nice that feels. If you're like me and you have a little bit of trouble getting your belly to your thighs because of the way that your spine is shaped, feel free to take a block, place it in between the belly and the thighs, and then all the way up into the hip crease. From here, hang forward and allow yourself to breathe into the block. Feeling that same spinal support. Inhale. Exhale. So feel free to hang out here as long as you like. I love forward folds. They're so good for activating the parasympathetic nervous system, for de-stressing, for relaxing and releasing tension all through the body. Allowing the blood to flow down towards the head and the worries to just melt away. If you know that you have low blood pressure, which I do as well, you might find that coming out of a forward fold, especially at the beginning of a practice, you can tend to get a little bit lightheaded. So please feel free to go super slow and to take care if you know that you have low blood pressure. Removing the block if you've used it, and then releasing through the torso again, taking the crown of the head, the very top of the head, towards the floor. And we'll roll up to standing for a count of 10. The fingers will trickle up the front of the legs. I want you to tuck the chin towards the chest and then roll up. So bend through the knees. 10, 9, 8, 7. The hands become heavy. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All the way to stand. Roll the shoulders down the spine. Lift up through the crown of the head, up towards the heavens. And we'll find our mountain pose. The yoga word for mountain pose is Tadasana. And I remember it because when you come into your Tadasana, into your mountain pose, it feels like you've just landed a tumbling pass at the Olympics for gymnastics and you're going, ta-da, I did it, Tadasana. That's how I remember. The feet can be together, heels slightly apart, or feet at hip width, whatever's more comfortable for you. We'll start by grounding down through the feet. Shift forward onto the toes, and then back into the heels. Shift the weight out to the outer edges of the feet, and then in towards the big toe edge. And then gently releasing, finding a stable platform, closing down the eyes, and imagining that there's 2 points at the top of each foot, on the ball of the foot, and then 2 points at the heel. And if you're balancing evenly between all these 4 edges, all these 4 corners, you're perfectly stable and still. Lifting up through the kneecaps so that the thighs, the quads are gently engaged. From here, slight tuck of the pelvis under. I like to think of this as a fishbowl. Your hips are a fishbowl. So rather than having this massive anterior tilt like this, where the hip bones stick out, or the other way, where you tend to tuck too much under and you can walk around like this, I want you to find that happy spot, as if your pelvis was a fishbowl and it's filled with water to the brim and there's a happy little goldfish inside and you don't want the goldfish or the water to fall out. So it's not too far this way where there's water spilling out the front, and it's not too far this way where it's spilling out the back. It's that little perfect little position where you just get to kind of stack on top of yourself. Lengthen through the spine, roll the shoulders down the back. Create some space between the shoulders and the ears. And then energize through the fingertips. Fingers spread wide, palms face forwards. energizing and receptive towards the universal energy. The back of the neck lengthens, maybe the eyes close down, breathing into the belly. This is our Tadasana. Maybe the corner edges of the mouth can lift. We'll find a couple of sun salutations. Sun salutation A. Don't be terrified by the name. Sun salutation means salute to the sun. So we're moving and we're saluting the sun. And sun salutation, especially sun A for me, they're so embodying and they force me to fully become present into my practice. I personally like to do them with my eyes closed, and maybe you feel comfortable doing that. Maybe you want to become a little bit more confident in your practice first, and that's completely okay. But if it is there for you, maybe just become curious about what it feels like to try it with your eyes closed. We'll take the hands to prayer, Anjali Mudra, pressing the palms of the hands together. Fingers spread, but gentle and soft. Inhale. Exhale. As you inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, which is the Sanskrit word meaning that you raise your hands up above your head. Maybe the palms press together. Maybe you gently look up at the palms and you open up through the heart. And then as you exhale, we'll bend through the knees slightly. Hands come through heart center as you hinge at the hips and fold down, forward fold. Uttanasana. Shake the head out. Uttanasana is this forward fold. Ardha Uttanasana, inhale. Ardha Uttanasana is halfway lift. So you can come back up onto the fingertips or to the block or to the shins. Broaden the collarbones. And then as you exhale, we'll plant the palms, spread the fingers wide, and step back to our high plank position. Again, if you know that you like to modify with the knees down, please do, or keep pushing up and inflating through the upper back. Full breath in. Full breath out. Smile at yourself. Inhale. Exhale, lower the knees. Keep the elbows tucked in, graze the ribs as you lower down towards the earth. Stay active through the core. Inhale, we'll find our baby cobra. Roll the shoulders down the spine, knees lift, and press the pinky edges of the feet into the mat. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Exhale, melt back down. Inhale, up dog if it's there for you. Come up onto the tops of the feet. Thighs and knees lift, heart opens. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Lifting the hips, tucking the toes, spreading the fingers wide. And again, find your down dog position. Slight bend through the knees. Lift the sit bones up and open. Press down through the index finger and the thumb of each hand. Push through the palms of the hands. Push the earth away. Take the underarms and energetically draw them together, roll them together across the front of the chest. Find that stability through the shoulders. Relax through the neck, through the head. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, bend the knees, look forwards, and step all the way back up towards the top edge of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, lengthen through the back of the neck, halfway. And then exhale, forward fold, remove the block, Uttanasana. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, back to where we started. Sweep the hands all the way up. Maybe the palms come together. Maybe you look up at the hands. And then as you exhale, hands to heart. Back to Anjali Mudra. Palms pressed together at heart space. Maybe even taking the thumbs and pressing them into the sternum, the center of the chest, and seeing if you can feel the heartbeat through the thumbs. Take a moment of stillness, maybe closing down the eyes and connecting back to the breath. Inhale. Exhale. Full breath in. Full breath out. Gently blinking open the eyes. And you have done one round of Sun A. Congrats. You're doing so well. I'm so proud of you for still being here. We'll find another half round of Sun A, which will end us back up in downward facing dog. And from there, I'll bring you up into some of the warrior poses. Woohoo! As you inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, hands reach all the way up. And as you exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana, hands through heart, hinge at the hips, all the way to the earth. Surrender, shake the head out. Inhale, halfway lift. Ardha Uttanasana, hands to the block or the shins. And then exhale, plant the palms, step back, high plank. Push the floor away. Exhale, hold. Check your elbows. I have to check my elbows too. Inhale. Exhale, lower the knees. Elbows graze the ribs as you lower all the way down. Inhale, baby cobra. Shoulders roll down the spine. Lift the heart, lift the knees. Exhale, melt back down. Option for another baby cobra or maybe up dog, coming up onto the tops of the feet, knees and thighs lift, heart opens. Exhale, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Let's get loud. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, open the mouth and make some noise. Yeah, shake it out. Tell me how stressed you are just from your breath. Ready? Inhale. Exhale, let it go. Doesn't that feel good? Oh yeah. Inhale, three-legged dog. Right toes lift up towards the sky. Keep both hip bones as if they were flashlights flashing straight down to the mat on either side of the back foot. Inhale. As you exhale, we'll step the right foot between the hands. And as you do this, I want you to become aware of how to step forward with grace, but also with strength. So from your three-legged dog, bring the right knee towards the nose. So you'll still be in a down dog shape, but the right knee will be towards the nose. From here, you roll the shoulders forward, stack them over the wrists as you come up off the back heel onto the back toe. So see here, you'll be in a tiger curl position where the knees lifted up. You're pushing the floor away even more. And from here, you'll step forward, keeping the palms flat if you can, stepping the heel forward between the hands. So I know that's a lot. That can feel like a lot, especially when you're first beginning. And if you find it more comfortable and you have two blocks, you can actually place blocks one under each hand. And as you do it from here, it will give you a little bit more lift and space for you to be able to place the foot down comfortably. So if you have two blocks, please feel free to do that. I'm actually going to grab a second block for you now so that I can show you. And if you ever have two blocks yourselves, please use them because like I said, props are your best friend. So from here, inhale, and then as you exhale, knee to nose and step forward. Isn't that easier? From here, we'll find our crescent lunge. So when you step forward, lift the heart and come up onto the fingertips. Press the back heel towards the back edge of the mat. And then as you inhale, the arms will sweep up towards the sky. Palms face one another, fingers spread towards the ceiling. Roll the shoulders down the spine. Bending into the front knee, I want you to relax the front toes and plug down through the front heel. And then all the weight goes into the back heel. From here, energetically draw both heels towards one another and feel that lift as you do that. If it's comfortable, maybe straightening through the back knee. And you'll feel that stretch through the left hip flexor. As the arms rise, lift up through the outer ribs and a slight tuck of the pelvis forwards. Full breath in. Full breath out. Woo! Here's our crescent. Inhale. Exhale. Let's hands frame the front foot. Step the front foot back, high plank. And rather than just sliding the back foot back and making it really loud, doing the same thing as you did before. So spreading the fingers, pushing the floor away, inflating through the upper back, and then lifting the front heel up to step back. From here, optional lower the knees, keep the elbows tucked in, or if you would like the full variation of chaturanga, leaning forward over the wrists slightly, keeping the elbows tucked in as you lower down. You don't lower the whole way down. Chaturanga isn't like this, chest to floor. It's actually a 90-degree angle with the elbows. So a good way to know whether you're doing it right is to place 1 or 2 blocks behind the elbows, one behind each elbow. And then as you bend, the elbows shouldn't hit the block. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Well done. Let's find a child's pose. Coming towards the back edge of the mat, spreading the knees wide, and then walking the hands forward. Or if you would like a narrow knee child's pose, the knees can come in together as you melt the belly down onto the tops of the thighs. Bringing the crown of the head down towards the floor, and the hands come back and the elbows become heavy and splay down towards the earth. So here you're probably getting a really deep stretch through the hip flexors as you fold forwards. And see how child's pose is like your safe place? Feel free to use it whenever you need. Walking the hands back out through tabletop, we'll find our downward facing dog, tucking the toes and lifting the hips all the way back up. Again, if you have blocks here and you would like to use those for a little bit of elevation, maybe you liked it the first time, feel free to place the blocks back down and then find your downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg rises, 3-legged dog. Keep the hip bone square towards the earth. And then as you exhale, we'll step the left foot between the hands. Push the floor away as you quietly step the heel forwards. Inhale, lift up through the heart space. Come up onto the fingertips. Exhale, hold. Straighten through the back knee. And then on the next inhale, we'll rise up, crescent lunge on the left side. Plug down through the front heel. The back heel presses all the way towards the back edge of the mat. Energetically draw both heels together. Feel that lift. And then maybe straightening through the back leg. Feel that open through the right hip flexor. Slight tuck of the pelvis. Engage through the core. Lift up through the outer ribs. And the fingers extend to the sky. Shoulders drop away from the ears. Full breath in. Full breath out. Corner edges of the mouth can lift. Inhale. Exhale. Last breath. Inhale. Exhale, you did it. Hands frame the front foot. Stepping back, picking up the front heel, and then stepping all the way back. Again, option to lower the knees down. Or if you like the option of using the block behind the elbows to make sure that the elbows are at 90 degrees. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Baby cobra is there if you prefer that. And then exhale, back to downward facing dog. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Bring the knees back down. Bring the hips to the heels. Take one hand to the heart space and one hand to the belly. Breathing into the belly hand. Connecting to the heart through the other hand. I like to invite coming back to this space of presence. very frequently throughout a lot of my practices. I find that it's the best way to come back into your truth rather than the ego. And if you ever hear me doing this or guiding this, or even if you don't but you feel like you would like to invite it, please do. Eyes closed if it's comfortable. We'll take 2 long, slow breaths, exploring the breath, becoming curious about what it feels like, how it's changed, what changes have happened in the mind since you came onto your mat, in the body, in your spirit, your energy, in the breath. We'll find warrior twos and we'll embody our warrior twos and then warrior 2 into a triangle. Don't worry, I'll walk you through it nice and slow. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Inhale, right toes to the sky, 3-legged dog. Exhale as you step between the hands. Open up the heart, come up onto the fingertips. Inhale. Exhale, we'll find our warrior 2. Cartwheel the arms, right hand forward, left hand back, and turn the back heel flat 45 degrees. From here, rather than having the hands spread like this and trying to be super wide, keep the fingers energized, but roll the shoulders down the spine. Relax the arms. You're a bird. Go for a little fly or a bit of seaweed. Spread the fingertips away. Bending through the front knee. Weight goes into the blade edge of the back foot, down through the front heel, and then again energetically drawing the heels in towards one another. Does that feel more safe and stable? Slight tuck of the pelvis, only so that the sit bones aren't sticking out. Find that comfortable medium position. If it's ever too intense on the front thigh, you can always just straighten for a little bit. Wiggle the hips side to side, and then bending back down into the front thigh. From here, I want you to look down and make sure that you can see the first 2 toes. So the big toe and then your second toe. This is the correct alignment for your knee. We have a tendency to want to draw our front knee in, and I want you to consciously draw it out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, we'll flip the front palm up towards the sky, and then reverse the warrior. The right hand will paint the sky as the left hand moves down the back leg, and then you can choose to either look up towards the ceiling or down towards the back foot. Exhale, we'll find Trikonasana, straightening through the front leg, sticking the left hip back, and then leaning forwards. So it's as if you're holding onto a rope and I'm holding onto the other end and I'm pulling you forwards. All the way up. Feel that in the body. Remember that. Hinging forwards. And from here, choose to grab a block and you can place it to the inside of your right heel as the left fingertips reach up towards the sky. So I want you to try to take the weight out of the block and engage through the core. So again, it's a very active pose. Tuck under the left glute. So it's as if you've got a plane of glass on each side of you and you're squeezed in between it. Try to lift up through the center of it. Bring the shoulder blades together across the top of the back. Lengthen out through the crown of the head. Looking down at your big toe, bring the weight into the big toe. Engage through the right knee and then lift up through the right thigh. Full breath in. Exhale, hands come down, frame that front foot, and we'll step back to a narrow child's pose. Bringing the belly towards the thighs, the hands can stay forward, lengthened, the forehead to the floor, or the hands can come back, elbows rest down, forehead heavy. Maybe wherever you are in child's pose, you'd even like to invite a little forehead massage. Gently just swaying the head side to side. And then walking the hands back out, tucking the toes, lifting the hips, spreading the fingers wide, downward facing dog. Inhale, left toes lift, three-legged dog. And then exhale, knee to nose, and then curl forward. Step between the hands, lift the heart, come up onto the fingertips. As you exhale, back heel turns flat, windmill the arms, warrior two. Right hand comes back, left hand comes forward, bending into the front thigh. Plug down through the front heel, relax the front toes. Bring the left knee outwards towards the left edge of the mat so that you can see your big toe and your second toe. Weight comes into the blade edge of the back foot. And then energetically draw both heels in towards one another. Have a look down at your feet and have a look if they're in alignment with one another. So you'll find that your feet will almost make a T shape. So the heel of the front foot will come within the center of the back foot, or approximately around there. It doesn't have to be exact. And then relaxing through the shoulders, spreading the fingertips far apart, looking over the front fingertips, slight tuck of the pelvis. Inhale. Exhale. You are a strong warrior. This is our warrior two, and it's named pretty accurately, really, because this is where we find our strength and our stamina. What kind of warrior are you? What are the battles that you're fighting in your life? And how can you continue to look forward and persevere regardless? Inhale, flip the front palm. We'll reverse the warrior. Left hand paints the sky, right hand drips down the back leg. Maybe looking at the back foot. Weight comes into the blade edge of the back foot, and you'll still be bent through the front knee or looking up towards the sky. And then exhale, Trikonasana. Grab onto that rope, straighten through the front leg, and then we'll hinge forward. Come back up and hinge forwards. Stretch through the front fingertips, and then windmill the arms. Right hand up, left hand down. Option to place the left hand on a block, but again, not try to slump into this base block. If you're using it, try to lift up. If your hands are on the shins, same thing, don't just lean into it. Really elevate through the top hand. Maybe not even using the bottom hand, just resting the back of the hand on the shin. Squeezing the right pelvis under, as if you squeeze between those two planes of glass again. Plugging down through the big toe on the front foot. Inhale. And then as you exhale, hands come down, frame the front foot, and we'll step back into our child's pose. Full breath in. Full breath out. Walking back up to a seat, hips to heels, one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. Connecting back to the breath. Again, having that conversation with yourself, checking in, asking your heart, how is it? What's going on? What sensations are moving through you? Giving yourself a little bit of thanks, a little bit of gratitude for showing up, for persisting, for sticking with it. And then gently blinking open the eyelids. We'll come into a balancing pose. So coming towards the top edge of the mat, however you choose. Rolling up to stand perhaps. Finding your Tadasana. 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 As if you've just stuck your gold medal routine. From here, we're going to bring the weight into the right foot, and we'll find tree pose. So stage 1 is using the left foot, the left heel as a kickstand. So you can just come up onto the left toes, placing the left heel in towards the right Achilles or the right inner ankle. From here, the hands can come to the heart, out to the sides, up to the sky, wherever you like. Option 2, the sole of the left foot comes to the inner shin, just beneath the knee. So you don't want it to be on top of the knee because that's too much pressure on the knee and it's not quite safe for the joint. So just below the knee, or maybe you'd like to reach down, grab onto the left ankle and place it on the inside of the right thigh. And again, the hands can come to heart, maybe out to the side. You can be a big mango tree. I like to think of myself as a mango tree, swaying in the wind. Maybe you even want to invite that, intentionally swaying, so that you can feel yourself counterbalancing automatically. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Take another breath in. And then as you exhale, gently releasing, coming back to stand and shake it out. Whew. Shake everything out. Like a jellyfish. Actually, you know what? You can do the jellyfish. I sometimes teach this in my classes. I'm pretty sure everyone thinks I'm silly, but that's okay. I am silly. We'll make the jellyfish dance, which is you spread your weight, feet wide, then you loosen through the arms and through the torso, and then you blob. And you blob. And you jellyfish. And that's the jellyfish. And then we'll find our tree pose on the other side. Tree pose is vriksasana in Sanskrit, and I like to remember it as tree is sturdy, and vriksasana sounds like vrik, and vrik sounds like brick. And that's how I remember it. Bringing your weight into the left foot this time, and then finding your version. So again, kickstanding, the right heel comes to the inner left ankle. Hands can choose to come wherever you please. Maybe the sole of the right foot comes to the inner shin of the left leg. Or maybe you reach down, grab onto the ankle, and bring the sole of the right foot into the inner left thigh. Keep drawing the right knee outwards. And just noticing the way that our bodies balance for us. Inhale. Exhale. Maybe take a different variation with the arms. Make some seaweed movements. Seaweed sounds. And then exhaling back to neutral. While we're making silly movements, why not? We'll invite a breath of joy. This is one of my favorite breaths to practice. Just because it's more fun and it's energizing and it's playful and it's joyous, like the name would suggest. It's 3 consecutive quick inhales as the hands go up, out, up, and then a long exhale opening out the mouth as you bow forward, hinging at the hips, knees bend, and the heart melts down towards the earth. And so you're literally bowing down as if you're a conductor and you've taken your final bow. So if you're with me, 3 quick inhales, 1 large exhale. Ready? That's it. Let's go again. Get loud. Last one. Beautiful. Walk the hands forward, walk the feet forward. We'll find our Malasana squat. Malasana squat, yogi squat. Heels to the outer edges of the mat and the toes slightly off the mat, facing gently outwards. From here, you allow the hips to sink down towards the ground as if you're wearing a heavy nappy. The hands come to prayer, palms together, and then the elbows come to the inner knees. From here, you press the elbows into the knees and find a lift and length through the spine. So relax, feel what it's like to be loose and unactive, and then engage and lift up, lengthen, grow tall. Doesn't that feel better? Even just like energetically, you feel like a better person. Relax. Oh. Activate. Ah. Inhale. Exhale. Oh, I love Malasana squat. From here, we're going to curl the spine, push the hands forward, make a pistol, and shoot all the negative feelings away. Pew, pew. And then look within, curl the spine, look towards your navel. Drop the head. Releasing all the way down. Coming onto your back. We'll find a happy baby. Grabbing the outer edges of the feet, allowing the knees to come into the underarms. The heels press up towards the sky as the hands pull the feet back down towards the earth. The heart lifts, the shoulders pull together across the top edge of the back, and then allow the spine, the lower hips, to lower back down towards the ground so that you've got almost your entire spine flat on the floor. The feet keep pressing up as if you're standing on the ceiling, and the heart keeps lifting. Happy baby. Maybe if you're comfortable, you'd like to start swaying gently side to side. Now you're a dancing happy baby. You just become curious about what it feels like. Curious enough to rock from side to side, but hopefully not curious enough to try to put your own feet in your mouth because that's pretty gross. Or maybe it's not. Who knows? Maybe you'd even like to extend one leg, keep the other leg bent, and then swapping sides, straightening the other leg, bending the other leg, and then back to neutral. Oh, hug up into a tight little ball. Give yourself a loving little squeeze and hug. Extending the left leg out, keeping the right knee hugged to the chest. We'll find a supine twist. Supine is reclined on your back. So supine twist is on your back, twist. So we'll twist the right knee across the body towards the left, cactusing through the right arm, palm facing up and looking back at the right hand. Maybe you'd like to adjust the hips so that you can get a deeper stretch here. Your body will tell you in this pose exactly what it needs and exactly the position that it wants. So have the courage and the self-respect to be able to listen to it, to honor it, and to be able to give it what it needs. Releasing back through center, hugging both knees to chest again, and we'll swap sides. Right leg extends, left leg twists across the body, looking back at your left hand, cactusing the left arm. Oh yeah, big pop. Supine twist. I think I'm one of those people who thinks that every pose is their favorite pose, just because when you're in that pose, it's so impossible not to feel joyful and just, it's like yoga is the most healing and cathartic practice I know, and it makes me so happy to be able to share this practice with you. Coming back through center, we'll find our Shavasana. So taking any other movements that are calling to you if you would like them. And Shavasana is our corpse pose. It's our final resting pose. It's the death of the ego in order to be reborn. Relaxing through the body. Don't be afraid to take up space. You're not a nuisance in this world. Spread out, starfish. The feet splay out to the corner edges. The palms face up to receive the energy, to share your energy with the universe. The shoulders hug into one another and the heart expands. The breath relaxes, not trying to force it. Just watching the breath move in and out of the body, like the waves at the beach. You are safe to fully surrender. You've done the work. And now it's time to enjoy your rest. If you know that you would like to put on some music, if you haven't already, maybe you'd like to find the Shavasana playlist, soft, soothing music, or maybe just instruments, and find yourself into a deep state of relaxation. And bringing some awareness back into the body. Taking a deep breath in through the nose. And a releasing, audible breath out the mouth. Wiggling the fingers and the toes, the wrists and the ankles. And gently rocking the head from one side to the other. And then stretching the arms up above you. Big body yawn. And the feet all the way away from you. And just like you're waking up in the morning. Then hugging one knee into the chest, the other knee in. And then rolling onto one side. You can use the base arm as a pillow. Keeping the eyes closed. Taking your time, there's no rush. Giving yourself a moment of introspection. To look within, to check back in. To notice any changes, any shifts that you experience throughout that practice. Remembering the things that you might have learnt. Remembering the way the sensations felt within your body. And as you're here on your side after Shavasana, I like to think of this as the place of rebirth. You're in the womb, and I don't think it's a coincidence that this is the same position, the fetal position, that we come into the world as babies. I think it's a blessing that we get to come back into this position as a place of total rebirth at the end of our practice, or whenever we'd like it, knowing that we can reset and readjust whenever we need to. Keeping the eyes closed or downcast, finding your way up into a comfortable seat. You may again like to find a block to elevate the hips, the same way that you began the class. Finding a comfortable position, easy position. Rolling the shoulders down the spine, lengthening through the back of the neck. Inhale. Exhale. Take the hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra, palms pressed together. From here, take the thumbs to your third eye, your place of intuition, deep, deep knowingness and awareness, the place between the brows. Lift the heart, lift the head towards the heavens, towards that beautiful grandfather sky. May you have thoughts of wisdom and clarity, invention and creation. Take your thumbs to your lips. May you speak words of kindness and compassion. May you have the courage to speak out for your truth and to stand up for what you believe in. And take your hands to your heart space. Press the thumbs into the sternum, into the center of the chest. Bow the head to the heart, the chin to the chest. Connect to the power within you. May you feel and give the love that you truly deserve. From my heart to yours. Thank you for sharing this practice with me, for taking a leap and for trying something new, for going into the unknown, for challenging yourself, for being patient with yourself, for choosing consciously to reconnect to yourself. The love and light in me sees the same light and love inside of you. And that is the meaning of Namaste. It's the awareness that we are all interconnected, all united. We are all one. From my heart to yours, yogis. Namaste.